Excellent. So, welcome to our next lesson. As I said before, this is going to be a very easy one where we're talking about pitch names and positions. So in today's lesson, we'll use the letters of the alphabet through A to G to name the pitches. So we'll talk about where they sit on the staff, and we're also going to draw them on the staff. So the bagpipes, as we spoke about last lesson, has 2 A's and 2 G's. And you'll see this when we draw it on the staff, and we'll also explain it as we go. Because we've only got A through G, so we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 7 letters. Sometimes you'll play an instrument that has more than 7 notes in it. So for example, a piano has loads of notes. Right, so there's going to be loads of A's and loads of G's. Okay? In the bagpipes, they've only got 2. So the lowest A will be low A, and the highest A will be high A. That's how we refer to them. And then same with the G. There'll be low G and a high G. And we need to use a ledger line to write high A, because it goes out with the range of the staff. And you'll see that when we go to write it. And we spoke about ledger lines last week. Ledger lines, a short line placed either above, below or through a note to show the notes out with the range of the staff. Oh, I've just written that there. Boom. There you go. So it tells you that it's out with the range of the staff. So here we are here. So you could all see my mouse moving about. So there is the first note of the chanter scale. And when we were drawing the treble clef there, we were saying it starts on that line. And that's the way I remember all these notes. I'll always think of that second line being G. So the note written on the line is G, not the space, but on the line. So there's your low G. There's low A. So you've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G and A. So that, remember I was saying you had 2 G's and 2 A's? There's your G, there's your A, there's your second G, and there's, I'm just moving my cup out of the road, my second A. And you move up a letter, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E. Forgive my voice, I can't reach that. So every time you move up a pitch, you're moving up a space or a line. So you're on the line here, so you're moving to the space and then up to the line, to the space, to the line, to the space. And you'll see that all of these note shapes are written as semi-breves. And the reason they've done this is just it's easier to read than putting crotchets and quavers and things in for now. Okay? So that gives us a really good look at what the pitch names are and where they sit. And as we said there, the bagpipe scale has 2 G's and 2 A's. So if you're playing this note, you would say that's low G. If you're playing this one, you would say it's high G. So you couldn't play this note here, for example, and say it's A, play an A. You would need to say low A, okay? Because you would maybe get confused with that one. You don't need to say low C or low D, because there's only one of them. So there isn't a low C or a low D, it's just C or D or E or F or B. And remember we explained the ledger line? That's a ledger line there. Okay, a little line placed through the note to show it's out with this range of the staff. Okay, if this staff had 6 lines, you wouldn't need to do the ledger line. That ledger line is representing what the 6th line would have been if it was there. But there isn't a 6th line. So if you're playing that note, you would just put a little line through it and it tells you it's up. Alright, it's up. Same as if there was a note down here where my mouse is pointing. You would put a line here and it's telling you that it's down here. So if we were to go down, you'd be G, then F, then E, then D, and then on the line it would be C if it was a note there. Okay? Your turn! And as I'm talking, just draw this out. So you're going to draw out 5 lines like that. And again, if you've not got a ruler, just try and make them reasonably straight if you can. Give yourselves a decent amount of space between each line. And if you want to, you can draw the treble clef as well, right, and make it look as pretty as you can. That one looks extremely pretty because it's done on the computer. And I'll give everyone another 10 seconds. And you don't have to worry about doing the bar line at the end. Alright, if you don't want to draw that, don't worry about drawing that. Because what we're going to do now is draw some notes on the staff. So, the first one we're going to try and do is draw a semi-breve on low G. Okay, and when you do it over here. Alright, don't smack it right in the middle, please. Do it over here. Alright, because we're going to do quite a few of them. So we're getting plenty of chances to make sure we get this right. Alright. So we'll draw semi-breve on low G. And it should look like this. Boom. So remember, the semi-breve was just a hollow note head. It didn't have a stem or a tail, hollow note head. And remember, G was the second line up from the bottom, so that was G there. So that's what you should have written. If you got that right, give yourself a wee pat on the back, and we'll get ready for the next one. Using a crotchet, show a position of low A on the staff. Right, so beside your semi-breve, my one's disappeared. Alright, I got rid of it because I don't want to confuse you. You're going to draw a crotchet on low A. It should look like this. Boom. So there's my crotchet. No, hollow, filled in note head with a stem, no tails. G was on the line, A's on the space. If I said high A, it would have been up there with the ledger line through it, but it's not. It's there. Next one, using a quaver, draw the position of B on the staff. So first of all, think of what the quaver was. Think of what it looked like. So you remember what it looks like. And then start at G and work your way up through the lines and spaces until you think you've found where B is, and draw your quaver on that position. And if you do it correct, you should end up with this. Boom! As if by magic, my B has appeared. Filled in note head, stem, one tail. That's my quaver. Starting on G, I've got G. Next space A. Next line B. So that's what a B, a quaver on the pitch B, would look like on the staff. So hopefully you're all understanding this as we go. And again, for me, the key is remembering G is there. Alright, G is on that line. And then just work your way up. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Next one, using a minim, show the position of C on the staff. So you've got a minim, think again how that's drawn. Alright, how do we draw a minim? What does it have in it? What does it not have in it? And figure out where C would be. Again, start with G and work your way up until you think you've got C on the staff, and then draw it on. And if you've done it right, it's going to look like this. Like that. So remember, your minim was a hollow note head with a stem, and it doesn't have any tails coming off of it. So there was G on the line, A on the space, B on the line, C in the space. So you should have ended up with that there. And we're going to use a semi-quaver to show the position of D on the staff. So again, there was G. You're going to work your way up and think, what would the semi-quaver be? So I had a quaver earlier where it was a hollow note head with a stem and a tail. What would a semi-quaver have? It's going to have something different on it. Alright, and you're going to draw it in where you think D is. Start with G, work your way up. Hopefully you've got this. Boom. There. And you might think, well, why have I done it this way? I'll tell you in a little second, okay? So you've got D, with a stem and 2 tails. Now, when you're writing music on a 5-line staff, if you're writing notes that are above this middle line, I usually do the stem going up the way. Alright, and the reason I do that, and it isn't right, it isn't wrong, alright, or it isn't wrong, it is right. You could also have the stem going down, so if you've written that, don't be stressing out thinking you've done this wrong. You've done it right, okay? This is a thing for me. Because if I was drawing a note up here, instead of having a big massive stem going all the way down, I would rather a shorter stem. And it just keeps it nice and neat and tidy. You've not got big thick lines everywhere and it's just confusing you. So there's my semi-quaver on D. So I had G, A, B, C, D. There it is there. And you can see potentially a pattern forming here. Alright. Using a demi-semi-quaver, show the position of E on the staff. E for elephant. So again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. You're figuring out what it is and you're going to use a demi-semi-quaver. And let's see if any of you's got this. Boom. And again, I've gone up the way, but it's still a filled in note head with a stem. And because it's a demi-semi-quaver, it's got 1, 2, 3 tails. Okay. Note as well, if I was to do a rest there, I don't need to put a rest on a specific pitch. Alright, I'm not going to put a rest on E or a rest on B. It doesn't matter where you put the rest, as long as it's on the part of the music that you're wanting to stop or have that period of silence. Alright, because a period of silence is exactly what it's explained as. It's silence. So you're not going to have the sound of G or the sound of E in silence. It's silence. Okay? And this might be the last one, or we're going to keep going all the way up. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But let's go for a crotchet on F. So crotchet is one of the most, for snare drummers, predominant notes because it lasts the entire beat for us. So we'll absolutely be writing loads of crotchets in our time as drummers and when we're writing our own music. Figure out what it looks like and where we're going to put it. Starting on G, work our way up to F. There it is there. Crotchet, filled in note head, 1 stem. So here's G, in fact I'll do it beside the arrow so you can see me climbing up. I've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And that's where F sits. Oh, we're getting another one. Using a semi-breve, show the position of high G on the staff. So think back to what the semi-breve was. And then we're going to draw high G as a semi-breve, or a semi-breve on high G. So think back to, we had G here, and then we've got A, B, C, D, working our way up, E, F, all the way up to the top. You should end up with this. G. And remember our semi-breve was a hollow note head, and it's got no stems and no tails. Just a hollow note head. So it's essentially a circle or an oval. And then I reckon we're bound to have one more. Yes, exactly. One more. So the last note in the chanter scale is going to be covered here. So we're using a crotchet, and we're going to draw the position of high A on the staff. We like our crotchets. So remember, we're starting with G or low G, then low A, B, C, D, all the way up to where you think high A is. And you've got high A there. And remember, you should have a line through this one. Remember, that was called a ledger line, and it shows that the note is out with the range of the staff. Okay, and the note will be through it. So that was high A. Imagine the chanter had an extra note. Alright, if it had an extra note, it would be a B. Okay, because that's after B. So it would be here. that ledger line is in the exact same place, but it's not going through the note. It would end up going underneath the note. Okay? And then if you went even higher, you would have 2 lines. Alright, and that might confuse you. You don't need to know about that yet. Alright, but once you understand why we use ledger lines and what they look like and how and why they sit there, then using 2 or 3 of them becomes incredibly easy. Okay, don't stress about it just now. Alright, or please don't stress about it just now. And there we are. Ledger line, extend the range of the staff beyond the 5 lines and 4 spaces. So it's telling you it's out with the range of this staff. Grand. So on the test, you'll be presented with something like this. Alright, see number 1? You'll be presented with a question like that. And it might say, what is this note value and what pitch is it on? Alright, so you would be like, well, that note is this note and it's on this pitch. Okay, so you would need to answer that, and it might ask you what the fractional value of that note is as well. Alright, so you're going to have a go at that and have a go at number 2 as well. So write down the answers for each of those on your wee bit of paper. So it's asking us, it is asking us the fractional value of it. I'm going to ask you the name of the note as well. So I'm asking you 3 things because I'm a cheeky monkey. Alright, so you're going to tell me the name of the note, the fractional value of the note, so whether it's a whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, and you're going to tell me what pitch it's on. Alright, and remember, second line was G, and then you work your way up. Same here, second line is G, and you'll work your way up until you get to that. So you're going to give me 3 things for each of those notes. And I'm going to give you about 10 seconds as I pick up my sticks for a bit of banter. I'm going to play the countdown rhythm. Bum, 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 bum. So, bum, 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 ba-da, ba-ba, diggity-da, boom. So question 1. The note was a quaver, and it's an 8th note, and it's written on low A. So that would be your answer. And it's extremely likely, if you get asked that in a test, if there's 3 answers, you're going to get 3 points. Okay, so it's not a 1-point answer. You're going to get a lot of points for questions like this. So we need to make sure we understand this really well. Alright, so it's a quaver, because it's a filled in note head with a stem and 1 tail, which is an 8th note. And if you're thinking, well, what do you mean an 8th note? Think of, remember the duration table? We had the semi-breve was the biggest note. Split it in half. We had 2 minims. Split them in half. We had 4 crotchets. Split that in half again. You had 8 quavers. Okay? That's why it's an 8th note. And it's written on low A. So there was low G, low A. There it is. In question 2, there we are. It's a minim, because it's a hollow note head with a stem, and it's a half note, because the semi-breve was the whole note. Worked down our way to the next note down was a minim, so a half note, and it's written on D. So here was G, A, B, C, D, and that's it there. Okay. So don't pipe up right now if you've got any questions. Alright, because this is being recorded to put up on the Google Classroom, and we'll probably put it on the YouTube channel. But if anyone who's watching this video has got any questions at all about anything we covered there, then please don't hesitate to get in touch with me, and I'll try and help you out as best as I can.